What up? I got Naskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's nothing. Pull up in your town when you see me, you know everything. Green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow, green and yellow. I put it down, representing for my team. I'm in green.
So I remember a Sunday night game when you're a young quarterback and you get to play Peyton and the Colts, and it was a good night for you. And that's a different conference. You don't get that many opportunities to play a game like that. And spend some time with Patrick, working on that spot. I gotta imagine he's anxious or disappointed in this matchup possibly not happening.
Yeah, I guess he may have practiced today. So I said yesterday I wouldn't ever count Pat out from playing this week. But I really enjoyed working with him this summer. He's a great actor. We had a lot of fun in those commercials. Obviously, he's an extremely talented player. I love putting on the film and watching him and his arm angles and throwing ability and eye manipulation. He's an extreme talent in the league, and the league's obviously better when he's playing.
So do you spend a lot of time looking at quarterbacks as much as you do defensive film? Or?
Well, when it pairs up like a season like this, when we're playing the AFC West, you see common opponents with when you have common opponents with a team like Kansas City. You obviously get to watch them. There's other clips you can watch from around the league, explosive plays or touchdown passes and stuff. And obviously he's been on there a bunch over the last couple of years.
So I asked LaFleur, and I didn't want to ask a leading question, so I asked him if Mahomes reminds him of anyone he's ever watched, and he did say you. Does he remind you of you?
Well, it's hard as an active player to make a comparison like that, and I don't want to do him any disservice. I think he's a phenomenal player, and he does some incredible things on the field. I enjoy watching guys who have similar styles. He's able to extend plays. He's obviously very talented throwing the ball on the run to either side. And he's got the arm to put it all over the field. So he's obviously had a fantastic year last year, winning MVP, and I think he's going to be around for a while doing that.
You two have completely different injuries, but you've been injured before, you've played before when you've been injured. How tough is that as a starting quarterback to be that mobile in that type of situation, if indeed Patrick Mahomes does play on Sunday?
Well, for me, it's about playing in kind of a 3-foot circle. And, Mike allowed me to be in the pistol a lot or the shotgun, so I didn't have to really move a whole lot from under center. Obviously, you bring a lot more plays into the plan when you can be under center and move around and get to an outside zone and get to a keeper and stuff off of that. But, I wanted to be out there with the guys if I felt like I could. Obviously, a different injury, and his looked pretty bad, and I've seen some of the reports about the expected length of time off you need. But this is what we do, and that's why I say I wouldn't count him out.
Aaron, you've been very complimentary of your line, as you have been in the past. But what is it about this group that you like and makes it unique to its own season here and what you guys have done?
Well, the first has been that they've been able to stay pretty healthy. That's important. I like our depth. I like the way the guys behind him have really stepped up. Lucas Patrick improving every year, and Alex Light really taking the jump and improving. Bringing Adam back, to add depth in the line is important. The guys up front are great players. I think they're very versatile. Lines in the past, we've had some great ones as well. And the best ones we've had have been really solid in pass blockers, but also really good run blockers. And we've been, pass blocking for a long time around here, and I think the balance has helped us out a little bit this year. I think the sticking with the run and the action that comes off it, and a lot of stuff looking the same, I think has freed them up a little bit and given the D-line a different look, when you're playing from behind, as we have the last couple of years, and you're passing the ball a lot, it puts a big stress on them. But being able to be under center a little bit more and pair up some of the actions, I think has helped them out. And obviously they're extremely talented. When you keep Brian healthy, he's one of the best right tackles in the league. And obviously same with Dave. But the front three have been playing really well. I've talked a lot about Billy and his addition both as a player and a person in the locker room. Elton, I think, has done a really nice job at left guard for us. It's never been too big for him. And Corey's just that steady rock in the middle who keeps it all going. I was teasing him last week about why he wasn't out there at the end of that game, and he said, "Well, I missed some time already with the injury, so I might as well get a little break." But it's great having those guys, and the best part about them is just how much fun we have on and off the field.
Do you think the game plan or play calling changes based on whether Mahomes plays or not this week?
For them?
For you?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I mean, we're not really looking at that. I mean, I haven't been looking at any of his film this week. I've been watching, their defense a bunch. But the key in that stadium, and John, we played there, in 11 and played there in 7. It's a loud stadium. You got to start fast. You got to try and take the crowd out a little bit, but we expected the place to be rocking, whether Pat plays or not.
We know how important Devontae is to this offense, obviously, but in his absence, how do you think that's given guys like Allen and Jake a chance to flourish?
Well, it just gives them opportunities. I think they're very talented guys, and I think they can make plays, and they had a chance to prove it. 17 is a different animal. I mean, he's a different type of player. He's such a dynamic athlete, great route runner, and then he holds himself to the standard of really not coming off the field ever, and you wouldn't want him to because he's just so dynamic with just about any route he runs. So not having him out there is just giving guys like Allen and Jake opportunities, and very proud of both those guys. They've been locked in and making important plays for us.
Seeing that different animal out there today in whatever capacity he was, does that give you some hope for Sunday that you'll have him back, or how are you kind of viewing him?
I want him to come back when he feels healthy. He's going to push himself though, and he has a extremely high pain tolerance. So again, I wouldn't ever rule him out, because if you start doing that, he might piss him off even more to want to get out there. So maybe you should start ruling him out a little bit before he rules himself out. But excited to get him back. But I want him to be healthy first and foremost, and that's a tough injury to deal with. And you've seen other top receivers who've had similar injuries, and it nagged him most of the season. And I'd love him to get as healthy as possible before he comes back.
How much better has Aaron Jones gotten as a blocker this year, and do you think he's becoming a more complete back?
I think he was always a very versatile back, but I think he's just kind of added to it. I don't think there's been a huge, jump in his blocking. I just think he's gotten a little better at it and better at same foot, same shoulder, and he can do it all. Obviously, he's been a great runner for us. He's really good out of the backfield, and he's always had good hands. So he's just kind of getting a little more opportunities, I think, in this offense. And because of the injury to Devontae, and needing the backs to catch some more balls out of the backfield and get involved in some of the passing concepts down the field, not just with checkdowns. So it's given guys like him and Jamal and Danny, a lot of opportunities in the normal pass game where they're kind of 1, 2, or 3 in the progression instead of being an outlet check down.
What does Danny bring to your offense, especially after you put last week?
Yeah, Danny's a versatile guy. He's fast as a fullback. I think he's a good blocker at the point of attack. He's a very smart guy. He's not like this guy on my right over here. He knows the system inside and out, and he can make adjustments on his own to protections, and he can read a hole. He might not have been as great of a runner as Johnny was at Ship, but I think he's a very versatile guy out of the backfield, has really good hands, and we ask him to do a lot. We split him out. We bring him from out of the backfield, running routes down the field. We give him option routes, and he does a good job at all that.
Aaron, you've learned a lot about your team already through 7 weeks, but now with the stretch, 4 or 5 on the road. I know you have 2 road wins already, but what will you learn about your team during this stretch and a game at Arrowhead on the night game on the road?
Well, this is an important stretch for our team. Kind of the end of 3 games against teams that are coming off either full buys or mini buys. So, important for us to take a step this week. It's a great environment to play football in. Very good football team that's obviously for a reason in the mix in the AFC to be a contender to win it all. We're trending in the right direction. You have a lot of faith in our guys and the abilities that we have and the opportunities that are in front of us. But this, is a game we can learn a lot about ourselves, and hopefully it's accompanied by a win.
What kind of dynamic, you mentioned we were just talking about the passing game backs, what kind of dynamics they added for you that's not just checkdowns and screens to the backs, but it's downfield routes and a whole bunch of other things?
Well, I think that it's trending around the league. Some of the stuff that you've seen us hit to Aaron, but it's stressing matchups, and when teams want to play match coverage or man coverage, we like the matchup with whether it's Jonesy, Vitale, or Jamal. They're all very talented guys out of the backfield, and you saw kind of the different abilities that they each have on Sunday. Jamal caught a couple and didn't go out of bounds, and he's turned that thing upfield, and he's punishing, finishing runs. Obviously, Jonesy is a slasher, and he can get down the field, and he had a great adjustment on a corner route. And then Danny, had 2 plays. One, he's just running a wheel, and makes a nice catch, and the other one, he makes an adjustment on a check, and when the other 2 guys to his side didn't get it, he still got it and turned it into an explosive gain. So it starts with the preparation, and I know I've highlighted Ben Sermons, before, but I think Ben does a great job of getting those guys ready to play, and they are dialed in from a preparation standpoint. I think that frees them up to play loose and confident and very reactive.
Was there anything in particular you saw from Jimmy last week that led to him having called his best game last week?
No, I just think it's about opportunities. I think the balls he caught, really just one of them was a kind of a play design for him. So that's the ability that he brings, is the off-schedule stuff. I hit him on a kind of a super clean pocket late, him running kind of a seam that he turned into like a deep over, for a big one. I hit him on basically a check down, and he broke, made 2 guys miss. So that's what you get from Jimmy. You have the playmaking ability. That was, to me, what stood out the most. Was it wasn't like we were scheming up a bunch of plays for him. He got some opportunities and made guys miss, and that's going to give him more confidence moving forward. But Jimmy has super high expectations of himself and a lot of great confidence, and we just got to keep finding ways to get him involved.
Aaron, obviously we talked about what it would mean to get Devontae back, but on your defense, what would it mean for them to get Darnell back? I know you went against him in practice all through camp, and you've seen a lot of what he offers. How vital to your defense can a guy like that be, especially against a tight end like Kelsey over the middle and stuff like that?
Yeah, I haven't watched any film of our defense really, other than the clips they showed during the week. I think Savage is a talented player. I think a lot of credit goes to the guys that have been stepping in, though. I think, Will Redmond has made a bunch of really important plays for us. Sully has been back there. Most people, probably everybody in here, didn't know a whole lot about him in training camp or expect him to make the team. Not only that, but to, be a starter in a bunch of different packages for us, playing a high safety where he's more of a corner. So I think those guys deserve a lot of credit. It'd be great getting Darnell back in the mix, if he's healthy. But I'm really proud of the way guys have stepped up. B.J. Goodson, he made a bunch of impact plays for us, and he wasn't even with us in training camp. So there's been the big name guys deserve a lot of credit because they've played great. But there's been a lot of those guys who've made impacts that don't get a lot of recognition that deserve it. Guys like Dean Lowry, Tyler Lancaster, B.J., Adrian Amos. I think those guys deserve a lot of credit as well.
Aaron, that says something kind of interesting about this week because of the environment that this game plan has to be really nailed down. Just because if you don't hear it in the huddle, you may not get it, and signals will be really important because of the atmosphere too. You feel that way? This is one that's really got to be locked in.
Yeah, I think they're all locked in. I can promise you they'll get the call in the huddle, and hopefully they'll be ready for any type of adjustment. But the key when you're playing in a tough environment is to make sure you're really good on all the checks, because a lot of them are going to have to be nonverbal, and I think we do a good job here of making all those look very similar. A lot of the checks are very similar as far as how they look when you're taking them off the film. So we got to be locked in on that, locked in on the verbiage, and just try and go out and execute.
Aaron, Matt said he leaves the signals up to the players. Did you develop a system over the years that kind of has your spin on it, or are signals throughout the NFL? Are they done all the same way?
No, I don't see a lot of carryover. When Ben McAdoo went to the Giants, there was definitely some carryover with the signals, but even their stuff, they worked in new signals. we've evolved over the years. I got to catch myself sometimes from using signals that may have worked in 2010 or 2012 that most guys don't know, and that's why they have to evolve. And so, we've taken some from Matt that he used, taken some from Hackett that they used, taken some from Getsy that they used last year in Mississippi, and then some of the ones that I feel really good about and I've used, from time to time over the years. But we always have multiple signals for each check, and then dummy signals as well, because they're watching that stuff.
Does the cigarette smoking one still work, or has that been retired?
Cigarette what?
There's like a GIF of you. Well, maybe it's not a cigarette.
It's yeah. I mean that one. They're all for a time and a place, for maybe a game or a stretch of games, and that was a good one. It's a great little gift. Now I've seen that.
Obviously, your defense would not like to see Patrick Mahomes out there on Sunday, but the competitor in you and the fans all obviously want to see a Rodgers versus Mahomes kind of thing on Sunday night. Your thoughts on that, just having him out there or not?
Yeah, again, I'm not playing against him. I'm worried about their defense. I think he's great for the game. He's an elite player. The game's better when he's playing, and probably get more viewership if he is playing.
Yeah, but there are guys that have said many times when you're playing, like, I need to get up and watch when they're on the bench. Is he a guy that you would do that for?
Depends. I mean, I'm a little superstitious from time to time about when to sit on the bench and when to get up. I learned that from Matt Flynn and Graham Harrell. They had a whole system that I occasionally adopt, and then occasionally say, what the hell, I'm just going to stand on the sideline and watch. But like I said, he's a talented player. But I got stuff to go over on the sidelines.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.